Hello everyone, today let's talk about a mind-blowing topic. Have you ever thought about this? Which came first, gods, heaven and hell, or humans? In my opinion, humans came first, and only then did gods, heaven and hell appear. Just as humanity evolved step by step from primitive tribes to modern civilization, our spiritual world developed in the same way. When humans developed powerful spirits after death, there might have originally just been a simple recycling station. Later, as the population grew and society became more complex, this soul recycling system gradually became more sophisticated. Those who came earlier guided those who came later, the older led the younger, just like founding a nation. That's how hell was created and improved over time. So the world of the dead is always lagging behind the progress of the human physical world. This explains why, after death, Chinese people see the black and white impermanence, while Westerners see winged angels. Heaven and hell are attached to different cultural groups. Culture is the vessel of the soul. That's why Western vampires can't scare you, but Sadako from Hong Kong horror films can make you afraid. Speaking of which, I want to talk about the greatest entrepreneur of our time, Elon Musk. Don't argue with me about why it's him, because he has accomplished things that only nations could do before. He single-handedly changed the global space launch market, which is far greater than creating the iPhone. Because for humanity to progress, we must cross a threshold, to evolve from a single-planet species to a multi-planet species. If there were a nuclear war or an asteroid impact on Earth, human civilization would be wiped out completely. But if we enter the era of being a multi-planet species, we won't be putting all our eggs in one basket. This leap is as significant as when humanity learned to use fire. When Musk was 30, he sold his software company and made hundreds of millions of dollars. He put $100 million into founding SpaceX, which was almost his entire fortune. $100 million would have been enough for him to live a life of luxury for the rest of his days. But he chose the path of greatest pressure and the least chance of success. His initial idea was pretty wild. Go to Moscow to buy decommissioned Soviet intercontinental ballistic missiles, take out the engines to assemble his own rockets, and then take on NASA missions for $40 to $60 million each. That was half the price of what the Russians were charging. Do you think that sounds reliable? Of course not. Great companies are born from these kinds of seemingly unrealistic fantasies. The first time, his $100 million was gone in an instant. Just a moment before bankruptcy, the head of NASA saw that he had actually built a prototype and gave him $1.6 billion. He started with $100 million and secured a $1.6 billion investment, which is how he got to where he is today. After getting the money, Musk did things completely differently from NASA. He pursued extreme cost control, using the cheapest options whenever possible. Traditional rockets use expensive aluminum alloys, titanium alloys, and carbon fiber. But he used 304 stainless steel, the same kind used for ordinary ships. So Starship looks big, clunky, and rough, like a barn. It's the ugliest spacecraft in human history, but the cost is extremely low. So what was the result? Musk succeeded. The transportation cost is only 1/10 of what NASA used to spend. Now here's the key question. Is there a hell on Mars? The answer is no, because there's nothing there at all. Musk's Starship will soon fly to Mars. This could happen as early as the 2020s. The first batch will be about 100 crew members, all signing life and death waivers, one-way tickets, with no guarantee of return. Why can't they come back? Because coming back requires fuel. There's nothing on Mars. Starship uses liquid oxygen and methane engines precisely because methane can be refined on Mars. But among those 100 people, there still need to be doctors and maintenance workers. Even if everyone else focuses entirely on producing methane, it still might not be enough to get them back. Musk's plan is for these 100 people to stay on Mars for years, with new ships arriving continuously. It could take years or even decades of effort before they can establish the capability to return. The first 100 people may never see that day, and Musk definitely won't be coming back. Suppose Musk dies on Mars, can his soul return to Earth? It can't come back. Who is the king of hell on Mars? It's Musk himself. So, not only was Musk born on Earth as a great man, but after his death, his soul will achieve eternity on Mars. This is the ultimate force driving him to explore the sea of stars. If you ask me, Lao Wang, would you be willing to give up everything you have today? If Musk gave you the chance, would you be willing to join him as one of the first 100 people on the expedition? I say this very seriously. As long as Musk wants me, I am willing because this is the true meaning of life. To fly toward another vast sky and sea, to establish another civilization there, what a once-in-a-lifetime blessing. Just like Wallace said in Braveheart, you could live quietly to an old age and die. But before you die, would you be willing to trade for a chance to return to this very battlefield today, to fight for freedom, to exchange the decades ahead for this one great battle? It is precisely this great spirit of exploration, the desire to conquer, and the drive of the human soul that form the foundation for our place in the interstellar forest. Because no matter where you go on Earth, you're already too late. 5,000 years ago, maybe you still had a chance to build a civilization, to establish a religious system, to seek a new framework in the world of the soul. But now, every place on Earth that is habitable by humans is already inhabited. You're too late, 5,000 years too late. But Mars is a virgin land. The first few hundred or thousand people to fly to Mars and be buried there. Each one will be a hero of Mars, a god of Olympus Mons. Let's leave it here for today. Goodbye. Just listening to Old Wang ramble on. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and give a like. Bye.